What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Zebec today. Shout out to the Zebecians. Here we are on the 17th of April, sitting at about $0.00286 with roughly 8 hours and 54 minutes left in the day. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all. Let's get into it, okay? Yesterday, you had a very nice breakout move. Today, a little bit of volatility, but it was good volatility. You know it's good because you're leaving behind a pretty big wick. There's still about 9 hours left in the day. You could come down and fill this wick and get a solid body close. That might not be so bullish, and we are in this resistance area where things could look negative really fast. But at this point, I think you've proven yourself. We'll see. We'll look at the shorter term stuff, but I think it's inevitable at this point that you will move higher. And with the momentum that's shaping up in the rest of the markets, it's important to be cautious. Don't get too carried away, but also consider the possibilities, okay? The momentum is shaping up. Altcoins specifically are in a prime position to see some growth because they've been beat up, man. They've been beat up longer than Bitcoin's been in a bear market. They've been beat up for a very long time. Very lifeless for a very long time. I mean, Zebec literally topped off here. I thought that I was at the top, but I wasn't, my bad. Topped off here in May 2025. You've been beat up a lot longer than Bitcoin. You've got some comeuppance stored up in you, right? I would imagine that from here, the possibility again of getting above this trend line, especially with all the momentum going on, it might only be increased. It might be a more likely thing now than we had previously assumed. We've always assumed that we could find resistance just below, right at the trend line, or even just above it. We've assumed that for some time, but man, the implications here, especially with how you're consolidating like this, you can see some good stuff, man. You can see some really good stuff. I don't know, is this an ascending triangle? It looks like an ascending triangle. If it's an ascending triangle, let's measure it like one. I'm not going to take this high. I'm going to take this high because I like to be conservative with my price predictions, okay? High to low here. You put this right there. I mean, that would take us up to about 0.003, actually it says right there, it's 37. It take us right there. We go to 0.0037 from here. That takes us right above this trend line. Boom, find resistance, come back down. Everybody will get max bullish at the top. It takes a break of a trend like this for, and it's not really a break of a trend. You still have a lower high overall, but it takes a break of a trend in the sense of breaking out of this diagonal line for people to get excited. Here's something that's interesting though, and here's something that makes me take pause on the idea of going below this low, is that you will not just be breaking above this trend line, but you'll be breaking above this high if this measure move of this potential ascending triangle that you may or may not have here comes to light. In other words, if you get to 0037 or higher, you're not only breaking out of the diagonal trend, but you are literally breaking out of the lower high trend, because at that point you will have a higher high and higher lows, which means you're in a bullish trend. Things to think about. Things to get a little bit excited about. Don't count on it. Don't hold your breath over it. Just things to think about. And with the momentum going on right now in the markets, it's important to try to keep yourself level-headed. Don't get overexcited, but at least acknowledge the possibilities. That way you can make the most of it. Hopefully you can make the most of it. Let's look at the short-term stuff, and then we'll zoom out from there. Okay, 1 hour time frame here. 00283 right now. Down 2% on this hour here, selling off a little bit. Let's actually pull up the Binance note, the Bybit chart. That's what we're gonna do. Good bit of volume at the top. I don't necessarily like that. 50 minutes left though, and you're dropping down immediately like this. I like that. I do like that. Yeah, I think you're gonna break through right now, bro. You guys are gonna watch this video in like an hour whenever it loads. It takes like an hour or two for these things to load. It's sad. It's the internet, man. You're gonna watch it, and we're gonna be up at like 003. It's gonna be awesome. Either that, or we are finding resistance here, and well, down we go. That'll be a bad call. But let's look at the indicators. Let's see what we're seeing here. Yeah, the 1 hour RSI is in a bit of a bear trend, lower lows and lower highs here. But if this hour can close green, we have a lot of time left, 50 minutes left in this hour. If it can close green, you won't be shifted down. You'll actually be shifted up, and you might be breaking through the overbought zone. And really what you have here is lower lows with higher lows is what you have. That's actually bullish, not bearish. If we look at this, let's see. From a low to a high, just below the 382, and you're back. I mean, this is bullish stuff, y'all. This is bullish. It's good. Stochastics are looking bullish. The MACD is looking bullish, but it's flipped red. Yeah, it's still looking bullish, man. You got bullish divergence. You're about to cross back green, and you're above the zero. All bullish. All very, very bullish. It's red, and it's still bullish. That's how bullish you are. If I say bullish one more time, take a drink of something. If you're sober, make it water. If you don't have hands, just like make a noise with your mouth or something. If we're looking at this here, I don't even know how you're watching this video. We've got voice activated stuff, so I guess we live in that age. If you didn't have hands, you would have voice activated stuff, so never mind. You probably have a robot butler to help you get water. We live in that time now. Anyways, 4-hour time frame, enough of the shenanigans. From an RSI perspective, we did find resistance in the same areas that we found resistance before, but you are finding support right at the 60, and that's awesome. That's awesome. We did that before, and to no avail. We came back down. Maybe that's what we see here, and perhaps we do. Perhaps we do come back down here, but going lower does not necessarily scare me if we do go lower from here. I think breaking out of this trend, here, we don't normally care for diagonal lines, but whenever it comes to patterns, they matter more. Breaking out of this trend might be more scary, but coming down here, that's not a problem. But you are in a situation here with your 4-hour RSI where you actually look powerful. You look good. You look like you want to continue moving higher. Getting overbought and then coming out of the overbought zone and getting back into the overbought zone again is typically a very bullish thing to do. It's a very bullish thing to do, typically. Stochastics look good. The MACD is bullish. You're just now forming some bearish divergence. You don't even actually have bearish divergence until you get above this. But you could very well climb higher and climb out of that bearish divergence as well. So bullish on all fronts. We're sticking with the bullish narrative there. On a daily time frame, looking at this here, especially here, it looks very, very bullish. The RSI is not yet overbought. We're at a point here with our lower highs that we're at a point of contention. You break through this point of contention on the daily time frame, none of the short-term stuff matters. You're bullish as hell, dude. You're looking really good. It looks like you want to go all the way up into the overbought zone. It's phenomenal. And if you get into that overbought zone, that typically coincides with breakouts. You'd be breaking out of this range. I mean, dude, you're not only that, but breaking out of that downward sloping trend, the lower high trend, getting above 0037. Exciting stuff. Stochastics look good. The MACD is a little bit concerning. It's a little bit concerning just because of the dying off of the bearish momentum. The thing is, you had bearish divergence here, and you had a false cross down. You had furthering of that bearish divergence here, but you still had a false cross down. If you can get this to start getting above this reading here, to disregard this bearish divergence, that would be a very positive signal. Very positive signal, you guys. And from here, I wouldn't be surprised. Whereas we were a little bit closer to 0031 to 0033, I wouldn't be surprised if we made it up to 0037. Or something, at the very least, that is in close proximity to this trend line. Right, these highs connecting the dots down, which at the very least would be 0034, 0033. From the current price, that's anything from like a 20 to 30 and maybe more % growth. I don't have anything else to say. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe. Weekly stochastics look great. The weekly RSI broke out of its downtrend without even getting oversold. That's awesome, actually. That's very awesome. And the MACD's taking on a bullish structure. You have bullish divergence. You're still in the bearish area of control, but you've got some bullish things going for you. Technically, not once throughout Zebec's whole history have you crossed green, and it was only for 3 weeks. I guess here you had 3 weeks of green. I guess there actually did have 3 weeks of green, but this was not when you first crossed. You crossed over here. You crossed over here, right? When you first crossed, you've had more than 3 weeks of green. Is all I'm trying to say. So, and you have bullish momentum behind you, man. I think you look good. We're gonna call it, man. I think you do get above this trend line. I really do. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all. Take care. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.